Welcome back, everybody, to the Back Nine coverage of Round 1 of the 2021 Stafford Open, presented by Innova Champion Discs. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here again by fellow lefty co-host Nathan Queen. And Nathan, we're watching some great golf right now.
Yeah, we saw lots of birdies, a few mishaps, and some bogeys as well, which you kind of have to expect in the woods. Excited to see this back nine, though. It starts off with 4 or 5 very attackable holes that you do want to get your birdies on. So we've got a good birdie stretch going in here.
And as you can see, Michael Johansen is playing exactly how you need to play to win this tournament. Double-digit round is kind of what you need out here at Stafford if you want to put together a hot round. And Matt Oram is in the lead currently by 1 stroke going into this back nine.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hold it throughout while we watch these other guys attack. Hole 10, 265 feet. Looks pretty straightforward, but there's a tree on the right and then that big tree you saw on the left early on the tee that really make this gap pretty specific. And if you get off the fairway, it's a pretty tough scramble.
And what I like is the fact that that tree on the left forces you to throw a push hyzer that stands up to flat. So you're going to see some cool lines from these players.
And just a bit too right. He's not too far off of the fairway. We'll see if he's able to scramble up from there.
We got the purple banger in MJ's hand. This is a magic disc that he's throwing. And this is a run of his newer ESP MJ bangers. I think they ran him a couple years ago, but they start out very stable. So for him to even have one that is starting to flip up.
Yeah, I remember when he got that one. It was strange to see him have a new purple banger. He'd had one in his bag for so long.
Long time.
And I imagine that's probably a newer one than the first one he put in there. And what a shot from Chris.
Ooh, and Chris kind of went flat on that shot. Let's take a look, actually. You know, it's shaped up to be a hyzer flit. But let's just take a look at the angle at which he is releasing this shot, because I almost saw a little flex out of his hand.
Yeah, that's such a hard shot to execute without the hyzer flip. It makes the gap so much
smaller. He went a little anhyzer out of the hand. I like that.
So he was aiming at that tree on the left side or just inside of it, threw it flat to let it turn a little bit with a stable disc.
That's touchy.
That makes that gap so small.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to push the hyzer towards the staggered tree gap rather than coming at that gap left to right. That was fantastic. And Matt throwing flippy putter and just swinging it a bit too high right. And Fish was frustrated with that shot.
Yeah, he knows if you're early off the fairway here, it's a pretty tough scramble. He's turned that over a little bit. I think he's got us just outside the circle look for par there, though.
Just right for Matt.
As always, giving it a good run. Kind of figured he would make it.
Yeah, MJ's banger, I thought that was going to get a little closer to the basket, but it just faded out a bit early. You really have to push that disc straight.
And you see Fish stepping off here. He does very well about resetting himself if he needs to. And as you can see, it works out well. Steps up and immediately fires in his par putt.
And this is big for Chris. He can take a stroke on MJ. Oh yeah. 5 under.
Yeah, 5 through 10. That's if you're half under the holes that you've played, then you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I think he's coming back. He's got some steam.
That's a good way to pace yourself for that double-digit round that you want to get.
Mm-hmm. And I think just bogeying early is what really stinks out here. Is that then you have to play catch-up because you know what a hot round is going to be. You know it's not going to be a 7 or 8. You know it's going to be 11, 12, 13, 14.
And that puts us into hole 11. And I said we came into a birdie stretch that you want to get. This does play as the hardest hole on the course. However, if you play it correctly, it's a pretty easy birdie.
Yeah, off the tee, you really, if you don't want to throw this long flex sidearm, you can throw kind of a flip-up putter or mid-range and then play a much straighter line to the basket from there.
Yeah, at 775 feet, you can throw 3 mid-ranges here, not be aggressive at all, and still have a tap-in birdie look.
Oh, and he stands up on it a bit too much. He says lovely. He knows exactly where that spot is and what you have to do from there.
Yeah, the whole fairway, the trees that you see behind these guys, kind of looks like that off of it. So that is why it does play as the hardest hole on the course.
And Fish going with a little bit of a flex skip shot here.
And this is where you want to land at. That's a great shot.
And he leans his whole body into this shot. And you see that wrist last second kind of break. Just beautiful form and beautiful timing from Fish.
MJ going back to that Comet, trying to have that soft landing, keep it in the fairway. And as long as it... Oh,
no.
That's not what anybody was expecting there.
Yeah, inside bush there, you see it wobbling after he hit it. And that looks better and actually might have been good for him.
Yeah, that was hyzer and out, and would probably have skipped a little bit to off of the fairway. He's now on the fairway, and the left side is the more open side for this second shot. MJ not quite around that first corner.
And I don't think that's a bad spot. He can throw another forehand if he wants to. Oh, boy.
And he's moved forward, but is still going to be in a pretty scrambly spot over there. And Matt going with the turnover down the left side of the fairway. Catches something late, but he's in a good spot there to be able to attack the green.
Okay.
Yeah, a good shot from Fish, too. He could have done without the ground play to the left side, but he's still not in a terrible spot. MJ reaching out towards the woods so he could have a better gap back into the fairway. He'll now be sitting up with a good chance to get his par.
Ooh, a little roll forward. Not too bad for him.
Yeah, he's about 140 feet or so from there, I would guess, so he'll still have a chance to get his par as well.
Yeah, this one averaging a 5.49. Just such a tight technical par 5 with a lot of weird shapes. You're almost never in a comfortable position.
Yeah, you see MJ in the fairway here having a barely squeak by that tree that's right close to him, but his purple banger has done it many times. Him and Villa both scrambling for a par.
Yeah,
it
what
looks
a
like
shot
here.
from Chris. He has such good touch with that putter.
Just showing you why they were the featured players here. Neither one of them got off the tee well, and both of them have pretty much a tap-in par on the hardest hole on the course.
And that is a sick birdie from Matt Bell. He has so many different styles of circle 2 putting. That's what I find so interesting from him. He has a 2-foot hop putt. He has that little continuation step putt. And then if he wants to, his standing range is like 70 feet.
Yeah, he's worked on all different types of styles. That's why he's so good at making putts from the woods.
Yeah.
He's comfortable
From the knee.
just throwing a Frisbee.
Yeah. And Fish also taps in a birdie.
So, yeah, luckily, I wasn't sure that I was describing the hole well since it was the hardest hole on the course, but I was saying how easy it is to birdie. Thank you guys for getting a couple birdies and pars here and kind of showing what I was talking about.
Yeah, and Fish kind of getting aggressive off the tee with that flex shot, too. Really beautiful decision that he made there. And Chris just 100% with the pizza pie tap-ins. Hole number 12, 243 feet. Little tunnel you have to get through, little bit uphill. And then this basket is guarded by these big mature trees. Kind of a tougher one to access, but it's so short. It feels like a must get.
Yeah, there's a couple trees. You can see the first one, and then the second one is a blind, but those two trees are kind of right where you want to throw it at. Fish has pushed it a little wide, but he'll have a circle one putt. If you do scramble into the woods on the right, even 2 or 3 feet, it makes it much more difficult to putt. You've got these little scraggly trees.
Scragglies. And Matt hits the big guardian. You have to miss behind or in front of. The line looks good if it misses that middle tree, and it just does not.
Yeah, that was a little wide of the intended line. If you go wider than that, it can work out as well.
So MJ's going with, I believe he's going banger.
And this looks good. He just misses that first tree you can see, but doesn't quite catch up over that last tier. He'll have an edge of circle putt.
And as a course design element, I actually really like the terrace to force a player to land a disc on the putting surface rather than sliding it up there. Little less room for error.
Yeah, like you were saying, at only 243 feet, it feels like it's one that you have to get, but there's enough things here to make it not that 243-foot birdie hole. Like MJ threw a great shot, but it wasn't quite high enough for what was intended, so he still has to make a putt here.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and ring it up.
Just such a smooth spin putter. He's been doing it for so long. What is a lefty throwing on this one? What is a lefty backhand throwing out here, Nathan?
I was throwing a Star Colt, a pretty beat-in flippy putter. It's worked out well until the round.
Sorry to hear. Fish cashing the birdie as well. He moves to 5 under par, tying Chris Villa.
Yeah, he's wiped that bogey away for sure.
Yeah, his scrambling game has been fantastic today. He's been putting well, and it's just a few tee shots that he wishes he could get back. But
And a good par putt there from Chris. He drifted a little further past the basket than I'm sure he wanted to.
If I need to get up and down in a pressure situation, I'm grabbing the AVR X3 every time. When you can connect the visualization of the shot that you're trying to throw with the feel of the disc in your hand, that's really when magic happens. I can trust throwing the disc as hard as I want or as soft as I want to do exactly what it's supposed to do. Like the AVR is the best putter of all time, the AVR X3 just might be the best approach disc of all time.
And after we have that short hole that's a little tough to get, but you still want a birdie, you go into the easiest hole as well as the shortest hole on the course, hole 13, 204 feet. There's a little gap to hit, but you should hit it and you should get your birdie.
Okay.
And
Little sleeper tree he didn't see, but what a decision from Fish.
yeah, I guess he just feels comfortable looking at it the whole time, throwing straight at that
Wow.
gap. He about said it right.
You about said it right. I feel like when you play in the woods as often and as much as MJ, you're kind of desensitized to things like that.
One good skip, baby.
Ooh, Matt was definitely running the ace there.
Yeah,
So close.
Knock some wood chips into the pin at least. You hear a little bit of metal. And that's one of those deciding sidearm, most likely just because you can look at the gap the whole time.
Exactly. Chris is visualizing this little flip-up shot he's throwing. It's tricky. Stood up on it just a bit, but that could miss and almost goes in the basket for ace.
Shout out to Finley on my card, who actually did hit the cage on this one. That was cool to watch.
Yep.
Again, on a wooded course, I love the ace run hole. I am a huge fan of just having one that is challenging enough, but everybody can run at it. Another great putt from Fish.
Yeah, confident, high in the chains.
And, you know, another famous ace run hole that I really like is hole 8 at Maple Hill. I love the idea of a water carry 250, but it's right in front of you. And the play on the hole is to try to throw it in.
It looks like Chris went a little long. May have left him a little bit of a tricky putt. Got to get underneath some branches here. Maybe mess up his visual more than anything.
Cashes it in.
Yeah, way to concentrate on it. Get you the birdie you feel like you have to get. Yeah, and a good putt for Matt as well. Looks like he had a couple things just to make you feel uncomfortable, not necessarily in the way, but great focus. And 3 birdies in a par here, kind of what you expect, if not 4 birdies. But Fish here making a push, 3 on the last 3. Hole 14, 285 feet. Most of the time you see this hole in a mirror, I would say. There's not too often that you have the lefty backhand small flex shot. As you'll see some forehands here with, I don't know if this is supposed to be a cut roller.
No, I think he was just going kind of a steep flex sidearm.
Okay, yeah, you'll see some stable sidearms here because you have to get a very steep angle on it and have it flex back out pretty quickly in this only 285 feet.
And Chris going backhand. There is
A small gap on the right side.
He is going hyzer. Is there a local route we're not seeing? He's going even farther right. He is.
Yep, I haven't seen that yet. It looked like that may have been his last tree to beat right there.
Yeah. MJ is going banger. Where is he going?
I mean, maybe he's got a corkscrew shot here. I'm not quite. Yeah.
Oh, no, he's going inside, yeah.
He's corkscrewing it to flat, and
It's just a hyzer, Nathan.
I haven't even seen anybody attempt that. I played with a few different people this week in the practice rounds, and nobody once tried to get a backhand up there.
It's so funny, you know, if you just envision the basket being 25 feet left, it can change the decision. That's what MJ pretty much did. Oh, what a throw-in from Chris Villa.
Oh, and after Bell catches metal from even further away, Chris says,
Just a smooth continuation of this back foot just slowly falling through. Gorgeous. Catches on the left side.
righty backhand's all it is.
That's all it is. He loves it.
Yeah, he's feeling it. Trying to keep up with these other guys. Or keeping up with these other guys, excuse me.
Yeah, at this point, he's been playing well enough to where he's tied for the lead. MJ has to catch him now. MJ's still talking as he walks up to his lie.
And 4 seconds later. So 2 righty backhands get the birdie on this hole.
Is your mind blown, Nathan?
My hands are up. My mind's blown. I don't know.
No.
And pretty rare from Fish there. I'm sure we'll see him move on from that. Wow. All right. Hole 15, 731 feet. Pretty tough gap to hit off of the tee. It's kind of small, and then there's a few hanging branches on the left or the right side that kind of get in your mind. The tall grass is not OB on this hole, though, so once you get out of that gap, if you carry some distance, you'll be set to approach this pretty tight green. There's a straight gap, or you can push it out right and test those branches and see if you can skip in down the hill.
Oh, yeah. Chris hits this with, looks like a control driver, and he'll be right out there.
Great spot. And another hyzer stand-up, which I think is the only shot he's thrown so far today. Gets way on down there, and he'll have a choice of whether he wants to go straight or a hyzer around everything.
And Matt slipping a little bit on the tee pad. Fades out into the tall grass left. Still a decent look at it. I'm guessing Fish is going to try to put a little bit more flip than the other 3 players have. He's really trying to feel this shot.
Focus in. Keeps it a little lower and doesn't fade off to the left. Stays back a little bit, but he can still reach the green. Looks like he's trying to go for the straight gap, but this is fading a little early.
Some great trees, honestly.
Yeah, he could have jumped on down the left side. It gets a little thicker and a lot harder to approach from down there.
So you wonder, I've heard...
Oh, stray shot on 16.
I've heard Fish goes roller on this. Yeah, he is. He's going roller. I've heard he does this very routinely.
And this...
No way! It's a real point. That's so solid. And we're going to do a quick throwback. Matt Bell also throws roller on this shot.
Ooh.
And he's attempted roller 2018. Attempts it in, I believe, the next year, 2019. And doesn't quite get there. But let's see if Matt goes for it this year. So he does, and he's going to cut it.
Yeah, he's corrected on the left misses
come
that
on.
he had before.
No way. So he was 1 tree away from an absolutely perfect shot.
Yeah, he gets in there to circle 2, which is good. MJ's going roller as well. They're all showing... Trying to show Fish that they can do what he's been doing.
I think the play is actually good. It thins the profile of the disc, and it also ensures that you are likely to not skip and fade down to the left side. Because if you're throwing a flat backhand, like, the percentage of you skipping into that thick stuff is pretty high. Villa almost dropping one in again from the throw-in. That's
Matt Bell.
sick. That is disgustingly good. Downhill jump putt,
Knew it.
complete death.
Knew it when he let go. So cool, man. I'm glad to see some birdies on this hole. I didn't realize we were going to see so many rollers. But it's a tough hole to access, so roller really does make sense. A little low again from Fish there.
He's just been inches from brilliance this round.
A good play, no bogeys there. Moving into hole 16, the other OB line fairway. This one playing a little easier than hole 5, which was the other hole similar to this. 545 feet. If you've got enough power, you can attack. It does bring that OB a bit more into play, though.
And I just have to believe that our card is going to be chipping a hyzer in bounds. Matt's throwing a pretty solid power hyzer. He'll have just a couple hundred feet left to the basket.
Yeah, if even. This one feels, as soon as you let go of your tee shot and you know it's in bounds, if you don't get the birdie, it's going to feel worse than if you threw it out of bounds.
Yeah. And Chris has also thrown a solid shot. Like you said, this grass is real grippy, and especially with the ground being a little softer from the rain. Yeah, MJ's just going to throw two of the same shot.
Yep, not trying to bite off more than he has to. Just two easy hyzers.
And Fish putting a good move on this as well. So that's a beautiful power hyzer. Let's jump back to Fish's throw again. And what I love is that he doesn't begin extending until that final plant step. There's not a lot of movement happening otherwise.
Yeah, and he keeps his upper body very upright the entire time.
And like we said, MJ's throwing two of the same shot. He is going to be about 30, 35 feet from the basket.
Yeah, that's a little further putt than you want on a shorter hole, and especially when you've got this elevated basket. Mm-hmm. It's a little higher than the typical elevated baskets that we have since it is hanging.
That's more what you want.
Yeah, there you go. He might utilize Villa's tap in right here. And this looks good from Fish, too. Came in a little hot, but he's still about 20 feet.
And Fish has thrown a Z flex zone, so a little underutilized run of zone on tour. MJ missing the birdie putt. Just a bit too long. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, pretty surprising to see MJ miss that.
Especially after how he's been putting all day. But it's hard to put your foot on the gas for 18 straight holes.
Yeah, he's one of the better players about not really caring that happened, though. He's probably already forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And he hadn't even tapped in for par yet.
Yeah, you know, I've played rounds with MJ when he's playing phenomenal. I've played rounds with him when he's having a pretty rough day, and his demeanor is legitimately the same. But he knows he's not playing for score. He's playing against the course, and that's it.
Yeah. Hole 17, 648 feet. Another hole that they've recently moved back to make it a little tougher. Pretty tight gap to hit off the tee, and then you want to fade off to the right side. As long as you can get to the bottom of this hill, you should have some type of avenue to attack the green. Pretty fun hole, one of my favorite on the course. And came out just a little high from Matt, but he gets close to a full flight. And over the, excuse me, over there on the left side, there still is some ways to attack the green.
And Villa's just throwing that smooth turnover yet again, and that is money.
Oh, that is so good. He gets down the right side of the fairway and just glides. He's a little pinched on that tree, but he's really not that far away. Hopefully he won't be in too much trouble.
And this is the kind of hole that you're scrambling almost no matter what. You have to get lucky to have a wide open look at this basket. Oh, hard hyzer out of the hand. That's hoping to flip up.
And it keeps standing up and flips, and that's really a good spot as well. On that left side, like I said, it's fairly open, and there's actually a line that moves left to right from over there. We'll see if he has it.
Starting it on steep hyzer,
Oh
and
my
look
goodness.
at this thing turn over.
Regardless of a tree, that's just such a pretty shot to watch.
To commit to that hyzer straight rather than swinging it wide is very tough to pull off. And then trusting your equipment to have it flip all the way over.
And look at him using that left side I was talking about.
No way, Nathan! That's so good!
Oh my. Just a standstill turnover down the entire fairway. Matt having a little trouble kicking off to the right side. We'll see if he can scramble for a par.
All right, so Villa's going with a reverse patent pending. His front foot is going to be behind the disc, and he's stepping backwards with his back foot and going against his body weight.
That
And
shot's
he misses it.
kind of like what he threw on hole 10. That flat force with a stable disc, and he does it well again. He's going to have a pretty easy birdie. And fish meant to be a little further left there, I believe. There's a little hyzer. You can't quite see from that angle. But he's going to be upset he missed that one.
And it was initially going to be a good tree for him and then got kind of a rough reaction.
And now getting to the gap he tried to throw a moment ago. That'll be a good scramble for par after being short off the second. And just another great putt from Matt. He's not quite happy because it's a par. He knows he's fallen a bit behind and you want to be a little higher or a little further under par. But he's managing out here, you know. He hasn't, none of them are really falling to the trees. They're all managing their scores to keep them in it.
And Chris has moved to 9 under par. Just a slow, steady push the entire round.
Yeah, bogey free. He's keeping it clean. That's the main goal.
MJ also to 9. MJ's already thinking about different things. He's wondering what he's having for dinner tonight. I feel like he only thinks about disc golf when he has to address his lie.
And it makes it easier on the mind, for sure. Moving into hole 18, another, I feel like, fantastic lefty finishing hole. 367 feet. This is one they've pushed further back. there's a gap that it looks like should be the fairway, and then some of those scraggly trees that I was talking about to the left side that you actually want to throw over and have it flexing left and fade back to the right. That's a little low, but it makes it over top of those trees anyway, and that's about the best you can do with a righty backhand. He's in circle 2. Looks like he should have a long look.
Well, you said that, and you were proven wrong before. Let's see how MJ throws this same line with the banger. This looks great.
And
And he shows you up again.
well, backhand specialist here. These guys are fantastic. Both 9 down, leading the
Leading the pack.
Luckily, at least one of these guys is throwing a sidearm for me.
Showing off the lefty backhand line.
And this is not quite flexed enough, but it does get pretty far up there. He wanted that to turn left a little more before it
That was
came
close.
back.
And Fish has stayed at a decent number despite some troubles. Let's see if you can pull off this last sidearm. Ooh, I love that trajectory.
This looks great as long as it's fading back.
Wow! That is a sick forehand.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's pushed it long, which does not make it easy for the putt. And I gave them a little bit too much distance when I said circle 2. It looks like they're maybe 90 feet or so. So showing why it is that flex shot.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think Chris Villa is someone I would play catch with. I probably wouldn't have to move too often.
Yeah, play catch, and you wouldn't have to worry about it hurting your hand either. He's dropping it right in there. So Fish from his long drive. Oh, no.
And Fish is going to finish at 6 under par.
Oh, man.
I think he has a big round waiting for him in the next 2. Felt like he was so close on so many shots.
Matt Bell getting the par after scrambling out of the woods.
Kind of a tough round for him. Couldn't quite get it going. But scrambled and putted really well from some of the mistakes he made off the tee.
Yeah, the way this course plays, if you shoot a hot round, you can be right back in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Villa shooting a 9 down.
MJ as well, 9 down.
Solid.
Yeah, most likely lead card material.
There you have it, folks. Round 1 results. Michael Johansen and Chris Villa shooting a 9 under par. Fish at 6. Matt Bell at 4 down. But if you take a look, Matt Oram and Justin Roszak are in the double digits. 13 under for Matt Oram. He is the man to beat moving into the final day.
Absolutely shredding. Well, hopefully we get to watch him keep that up.
Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. We will catch you for the round 2 coverage tomorrow. Again, I'm Brian Earhart. He's Nathan Queen. We are signing off.
We'll see you guys out there.